tragedies like the one that happened here in the Philippines 2 years ago, and precarious working conditions with falling wages. You'll hear more about that this morning as the others speak. Who do we represent? We are the International League of People's Struggle, the largest global formation of its kind in the world, militantly anti-imperialist and democratic, with hundreds of member organizations, which in turn have millions of individual members in scores of countries on all continents. This event on the eve of APEC is not our first such outing. Our anti-imperialist United Front formation, the ILPS, was conceived on the eve of the famous Battle of Seattle. Actually, I was there many years ago, against the World Trade Organization, just before the turn of the 21st century. So perhaps in many ways, what we're seeing this time is the Battle of Manila. But before I go further, I'd like to say that I'm a little worried this morning. No, I'm not worried about the crazy Manila traffic, and no, I'm not worried about marching in the streets to expose the anti-people lies of APEC. What I'm most worried about is that when I get to the airport to head home, I'm going to probably have bullets stuck in my luggage and money extorted from me. So I've decided that I will not only get my luggage, but also my entire body wrapped in protective plastic. And I know it'll be uncomfortable, but at least I might be safer. So you can take the recommendation. So what is it? We're living in a global paradox. The more military there are, the more police there are, the more prisons there are, the more high-tech military weapons there are, the more security agents there are at the airport. Well, despite all that, we feel less safe than we ever were. And that's the same for APEC. The more they claim that they are building a better world and a more inclusive economy, the less I believe them. I see that in my own country, Canada, where we are also peddling lies, which is the reason I'm here at the APEC Summit, to expose these lies and raise them with Canada's new Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau. For example, there's the lie that Canada is open to immigration. Not true, unless you're rich or come from the right class background. Canada is now a land where working class applicants, like my father, who immigrated from England many years ago, are no longer welcome. Instead, Canada, like Saudi Arabia and Hong Kong, is relying more and more on temporary workers that endure second-class status and are used, abused, and then thrown out. I revealed this shift in Canadian immigration policies in a recent film I directed for Canadian national television called The End of Immigration, ? Another lie is that the Canadian large-scale mining companies are good for the Philippines and other countries. As you know, there are major mining companies from Canada like TVI operating in your country, particularly in Mindanao. This large-scale mining has led to environmental destruction and increasing military presence to put down the resistance of the local people. That's why the Lumans, your indigenous people, have bravely marched all the way from Mindanao to Manila. And they do not, because they do not want these large-scale mining concerns from Canada and other countries operating anywhere near their traditional lands. And of course, another lie, there are many, is that the Trans-Pacific Partnership is good for the peoples of Canada and the Philippines. Negotiated totally in secret, it is instead a deal to assure even more power for the global elites and the multinational corporations. To conclude, as you will see over the next 3 days of our 5th International Assembly of the ILPS here in the Philippines, there is resistance and there is hope. The world's working people are meeting, sharing, and organizing a global movement to expose and oppose APEC and the other imperialist machinations, and they're going to build a world that is truly better for the 99%. I'll now pass the microphone on to Len Cooper of Australia.